Meet John Turner. Not so long ago, John was homeless, living on the streets with nothing but the clothes on his back. His world had fallen apart piece by piece, leaving him alone, with no family, no home, and no job. He felt invisible, just another face lost in the shadows of a busy city. Today, however, John's story is different. He's a motivational speaker, a mentor to many, and a symbol of resilience. This is his story, a journey that began with a man who had lost everything except hope. Growing up, John had dreams just like anyone else. He loved to learn, especially about science and technology. He spent hours tinkering with gadgets, dreaming of becoming an engineer. He believed he could build a better life for his family, lift them out of poverty, and make them proud. But life didn't go as planned. As John grew older, life brought unexpected challenges. His mother became gravely ill, and her medical bills were overwhelming. The family's finances crumbled under the weight of her treatment. John, still in high school, took on part-time jobs to help cover the costs, giving up time he would have spent studying or with friends. His dreams of college began to slip away as every dollar he made went to his mother's care. Slowly, the future he had worked so hard for felt further and further away. Then came a series of setbacks. Without a college degree or work experience, John faced rejection after rejection. He was determined, but each failed job application wore him down. When he finally lost his part-time job, he couldn't afford rent. The life he had once known vanished, and he found himself on the streets, with nowhere to go and no one to turn to. Night after night, he slept on park benches, wondering how his life had come to this. The lowest point came during a cold winter night when he sat alone on a nearly empty street. He was hungry, tired, and utterly defeated. But that night, something unexpected happened. John found a book on a bench. The title was simple yet powerful, The Power of Belief. He didn't know why it was there or who had left it, but he felt compelled to pick it up. As he flipped through the pages, he discovered stories of people who had overcome impossible challenges, who had started with nothing and rebuilt their lives. Something stirred within him. For the first time in what felt like years, he felt a glimmer of hope. John read that book cover to cover, and it became his lifeline. He carried it with him everywhere, sometimes reading under streetlights late into the night. The words in that book reminded him that he still had control over his life, that he could rebuild one small step at a time. Inspired, he decided to try again. The first place John went was the public library, where he spent his days reading everything he could find about self-improvement, psychology, and motivation. Each new book gave him a fresh perspective, and he took notes, setting small goals. His first goal was simple: find a job, any job. Despite his fears, he approached every business he could, asking for work, and this time he didn't give up. After weeks of searching, he finally landed a job as a dishwasher in a small cafe. To anyone else, it might have seemed like a small step, but to John, it was everything. With that paycheck, he was able to rent a tiny room. He saved every dollar he could, knowing that this was his way forward. John worked tirelessly at the cafe, always volunteering to help with extra tasks, always showing up early and staying late. His coworkers began to notice his dedication, and soon, he was given more responsibilities. Over time, he saved enough money to enroll in a few night classes. He studied late into the night, relearning math, science, and engineering concepts, all with the goal of achieving the dream he had nearly abandoned. It wasn't easy, and there were moments of doubt. But John remembered the words he had read, and he kept going. His resilience and hard work paid off, and after years of persistence, he completed his studies. He landed his first job as an engineer, a dream come true for someone who once thought he had lost everything. But John's journey didn't stop there. He remembered the countless nights he had spent on the streets, the times he'd felt invisible and hopeless. He wanted to share his story, to show others that there is always a way forward, no matter how dark it may seem. He began volunteering at shelters, speaking to those who were struggling, sharing his journey, and offering them hope. Today, John travels the country as a motivational speaker, reaching out to people from all walks of life. He reminds them that resilience isn't about never falling, it's about having the courage to stand up each time you do. His message is simple but powerful: our lowest points can become the foundation for our greatest strengths. When life brings us to our knees, we can choose to rise again.